Welcome, welcome to Happy Class Online School. And this is the part 2 of the video where we're talking about how to use past tense, present tense, and future tense accurately. And this is the Premier 4 section, Premier 4 class and the first term. So we are in week 1 and 2. So as I've said earlier on, this is the part 2 of the video. So if you have not watched the part 1, go back and quickly watch it. So for you to be able to understand what I'm going to explain here better. So we are discussing today on how to form simple past tense from verbs. You understand? So that's all about spelling rule and so that's about it. So here we're talking about spelling rules here. So you probably see a lot of it and you will learn it and we will discuss a lot about it. So let's quickly move on. So how do you so how to perform simple past tense from verb? So the first thing is you understand that we can actually divide verbs into two forms. So we have the first one, which is regular verb, and the second one, which is irregular verb. So the first one, which is irregular verb, are verbs that if a verb is regular, so the past simple end in ed. That means an example is knee, that we have kneed as the past simple. So that means if you want to say, for example, now like you want to tell someone that you kneed something, so you can only say kneed, and if you want to write it down, that would be CLEANED. So we have stop, which is STOPPED, and we have use, which is used. That means the past simple is the one that I bracket here. The one that I bracket here, this one. So we have this one and the other one. You understand? So this one and the other one. Now talking about the regular verb now. So when the past simple did not end in ed, so the verb is regular. Like tell now, no, we do not have tell. That is true. The past tense, the simple past tense of the simple past of tell is told, and the simple past of spill is split, and the simple past of become is became. So we have to keep that in mind that we have two verbs according to this. We have verb can be classified into many, but we are not discussing about verbs here. Just keep in mind that for you to be able to understand the spelling form of simple past, we have regular verb and we have irregular verb, and the regular verbs are the ones that have ed adjoined to them at the back. You understand? Like they have ed, they end in ed. You understand? And the regular one did not end in ed. So now I'll give you the list of the most common verbs, the most common irregular verbs. Don't worry, we'll talk about that before the end of this video. Then we have stop. Now if you watch this closely, now we have stop, which is the simple past version of stop is stop, which has a double p there. You understand? And the simple past of and the simple there now. So the simple past of knee is kneed. It's not kneed. Sorry, it's not kneed. So it not have double n here. That means we have to know how can you write correctly the spelling of verb when you change them to simple past, so that you won't make mistake in whatever you are writing. Maybe you are writing a letter to someone, maybe you are writing an essay, or maybe you are writing something about your town or about you, or whatever you might be writing in English. So this means you have to learn how to actually spell, so to be able to write the correct spelling for the past simple tense forms. Now the first one we are going to talk about here now is the regular verbs. So the regular verbs, then how are you going to change regular verb to simple past? It is simple. This is very simple. Just don't worry. It takes a lot of time to understand, but this is a video. You can actually pause it, you can rewind it, and you can fast forward it. You can do all sorts of things. Just make sure you listen, you understand what I explained here. So if you don't understand it, you can back it, you can rewind it, and if even if you do not see understand it, despite rewinding back, you can actually comment in the below section, and I will reply to you. Or even if you are a parent and you are watching this, help your children comment down below, and I will reply to it and explain further. So if a verb is regular, the past simple end in ed. For example, now we have knee. So if you want to say knee in past tense, in simple past we have kneed. So stop in simple past will be stopped with that double p, you understand, and use will be used. Now simple spelling, now forming simple past tense from regular verb. So what I told you already before that we want to talk about the regular verbs. So the first thing is that there are some verbs that end in y, you understand. And what we are going to do, if whenever you see a verb that ends with y, is that if a verb ends in a consonant plus y, you understand. So I will tell you what consonant is later on, don't worry. That means we are going to change that y to I. So before you had the, before adding or before you had the ed, you understand, before you put the ed ending. That means whenever you see a verb that ends with y, with consonant plus y. Now this is what consonant means now. So whenever you, if you write a b c to z, you understand, or a b c to z, and take out a e i o u, a e i o u, so the rest one they are the consonants, and the a e i o u they are the vowels, you understand. So example now is the hurry. We have h u r r y. So now we have h u r r y. That r y, you understand. So the r is consonant. So since the verb end with y now, that means before we write ed there, we are going to change that y to I, then we are going to write the ed. So that is the correct spelling for the past simple of hurry. And the same thing with try. We have try here. So before you write ed after it, you are going to change that I to y, and you are going to write ed after. Now quickly check out this exercise and do it. So the first one is apply. Apply. Now we have L before we have the Y. That means we are going to change that Y to I, and before you write the ed. So the correct spelling would be APPLIED. And the same thing with cry. The same thing also with qualify. That means that FY, before you write the ed, you are going to change that y to I. That means the correct spelling for qualified will now be QUALIFED. And the same thing with spy. The spy will spied, and MV2 will be EMV. I mean this MV here. Sorry, the MV here will be ENVIED. Same thing with copy, replied, complied, verify, and bury. So make sure you quickly write that one down, pause the video, and make sure you do the exercise. So it's not very complex. And any other verbs that end with ed, there is some that end with y. There is something also that you have to keep in mind. Now, so you are not to change the y. So you are not to change the y if the verb ends in a vowel plus y. Now the vowel here is the a, e, i, o, u. You remember what I explained the other time. So the vowel is the a, e, i, o, u. Now the first example is we have play here. We have play, because a before we had the y there, we have a, and the a is a vowel. That means don't change the y to anything, just write the ed. That will be played. And the same thing with enjoy. The correct spelling for enjoy will be enjoyed, as you see here. So to quickly do this exercise, is the same thing. So stay now will be stayed. Destroy will be destroyed, and employ will be employed. Employed. So that's how you are going to do display, delay, relay, gray, and annoy. So pause the video and make sure you do it before you move on to the next section, which is actually some verb. There are some exceptions. Some verbs ending in y are different in their past simple, like pay now. No, understand now, pay. That we have pay now. So pay is not paid. It's not PAIED, but paid. The correct spelling is PAIED, not PAYED. You understand? Consider to this one that I explained earlier on, that whenever you see a verb that end with okay, any verb that end with consonant with a vowel plus y, you hide ed. So that rule does not apply to this one here, that we have pay, that you have to add ed after it, but the correct spelling is paid. That's why I write it here, so that you'll be able to understand it clearly. And we have lay here. So lay is not L-A-Y-E-D but L-A-E-D, and same thing with say, which is not said but said, S-A-I-E-D. So that is that. And the other thing is that there are some verbs that end with E, like hope, dance, wide, you understand. So whenever you see such kind of verbs, but you have to keep something in mind there, that this only apply to regular verb, you understand, only verb that have ed after it. So if a verb ends in e, just add the ed, because there are some irregular verb that end with e there, but if you put e after them, you are going to miss the simple part. Don't worry, you are going to see all those kind of verbs and be able to understand it even better, you understand. So an example here is hope. So when you see H-O-P-E, the past simple for hope is hope, you understand. So it's hope, you put ed after it. And the past simple for confused is confused. So that's that. And quickly do this exercise. Bake now, you have to write B-A-K-E-D and I-C-E-D, T-A-S-T-E-D and T-Y, all like that. So you have just going to put D after them because they already have the E there. So keep that in mind. Pause the video and make sure you do exactly what I ask you to do, so that you don't actually forget what I explained. Remember that as you are writing this, you are practicing it. As you are practicing it, you actually are saving it in your memory. So whenever you want to write the past tense of judge, now you will be able to understand that it is judge, not whatever, not any other thing else. So I believe you have answered all those questions. So let's move to the next one, which is there are some verbs called modal auxiliary verbs, and whenever you hear the word auxiliary verb, just know that it means an helping verbs. Keep that in mind. Auxiliary verb means an helping verb, and we have just only 5 of them. So we have can, may, must, shall, and will. We have can here, may, must, shall, and we have and is not there, so we have will, W-I-L-L here. So because I wrote this here because they are exceptions to the rule. They are like the irregular verbs, you understand. So the first one, so they have their simple past here. Can, the simple past of can is could. The simple past of may is might. So must did not have any simple any simple past, you understand. And we have shall is should, and we have will, which is would. So that's it. So keep in mind that verb can also be divided into main and auxiliary verb, and remember that auxiliary verb is the helping verbs, you understand. You are going to learn a lot about this, don't worry, don't really, when you get to it, you understand. Maybe when you get to point 5 or just want to be able to understand, but this is all you need for now to be able to understand it clearly. Or maybe I can even create another channel for advanced class, so that you be able to know what all this means. But for now, this is what you need to know. Just so that we have main verb and we have some verb also called auxiliary verb, and auxiliary verbs also means helping verbs. So keep that in mind. So now there are some verbs like stop is not stopped. That means it's not S-T-O-P-E-D. It has double P. For example, now, so the rule is that you doubling consonants. So sometimes when a verb ends in vowel plus consonant, and you know what vowel is, A-E-I-O-U plus consonant, like OP, like stop here, for example. Now the O is vowel and the P here is consonant. In plan here, A is vowel and N is consonant. So regret, E here is vowels and T is consonant. Whenever you see a verb like this, before you add the ed after it, you know we are dealing with regular verb here. Before you add ed after it, you double the consonant. That means the consonant here. That means here you are going to double the P. You are going to double the P. And here too you are going to double the N. And here you are going to double the T. So here now we have an example. So stop will now be S-T-O-P-P-E-D, and rub now will be R-U-B-B-E-D. No, these are some examples that are similar to this one, like ban, clapped, chat, beg, fan, and flip. That means ban will be B-A-N-N-E-D, and clapped will be C-A-C-L-A-P-P-E-D, and chatted we have beg, we have fan, and we have flipped. So flip will be F-L-I-P-P-E-D. So that is that about that. And now this might be a little bit complex, but just don't bother yourself with it. Just make sure you understand the verbs here. Just pick the verb and know the simple parts of it. So the rest, don't bother yourself with it. Don't understand. And if you understand it, just keep this in mind. Remember what when you are taught what syllable is, you remember that. Eh. So if the words has more, if a word like if a verb now has more than one syllable, like prefer, submit. So we double the consonant at the end only if the final syllable is stressed. For example, now we have prefer. I wrote fer here because it's stressed. The last word here is stressed. You understand? So preferred. So the f here will be double. That will be preff. That's the correct. Now, if you also look at the regrets, now you see gret is the stressed final syllable there. So that means the t here will be doubled. That means we double the t. You understand? So the t here will be double t. So it's not just only one single t. Now let's quickly do this exercise. That means we have occur, equal, rival, submit, travel. That means this r here will now be double r, sorry. So that will be OCCURRED, and equal also will be double L, rival will double L, and submit will be double T, and travel will be double L, sorry. So that will be TRAVELLED. So and then more on letter W2. So if the final syllable is not stressed, so we do not double the final consonant. Remember that I said you should not worry about being stressed, the meaning of stress, the meaning of syllable for now. If you don't understand that one, just don't worry, you are going to get it later on. So but just keep in mind the verbs that I'm giving you the simple past here, so that when you master those one, you don't need to even know stress or anything unless you want to know the other kind of pronunciation in English, which we won't talk about in this course. So an example one is visited. Now we have visited. So the last it is not the one that is stressed. Vis is the one that is stressed. So we not double the t. It's different from this one that you see here, that we double the t in the regretted. You understand? But in visited now, the t is just only one. We have only one t, and in happened we have happened. It's not double hen. It's just only one single hen. So these are the two words that follow the same path as visited and happened. So develop, we don't have double p. You understand? We have develop, developed, developed, and remembered also will be just only ed without doubling the r. So you get more simple past verbs from now you get more simple past verbs forms as you read English literatures, dictionaries, and stories. So you just have to be on the lookout for that. So as you read novels, you read jotters, you read anything that is any English thing that you read, newspaper and others. So you have to be master all the verbs, how they use the past simples, and it's not even very complex as you might even be thinking of. So we now have British English, because in Nigeria we are using British English, not the American version of English, because we know we have several versions of English. So now there are some verbs in British English that end in "l". So what are you going to do that? What are you going to do to them? Now in British English, verbs ending in "l", you understand, verbs that end with "l" have double "l" before the ed, and whether the final syllable is stressed or not. So I've already told you not to worried about being stressed, syllable stressing or other thing. So these are examples. You have traveled now. So traveled will be traveled, and cancel will be cancelled with double L there. You understand? So don't worry. Sorry that I don't provide you with some exercise here. Just remember the spelling of travel as double L, and the spelling of cancelled as double L. So important things to keep in mind. So if the verb end in two consonants, like you know the meaning of consonants now. So so when you take a, e, I, o, u out of a, b, c to z, so the rest are consonants. Now if you have consonants, if a verb now ends with two consonants, like we have rt here, like lp and ng. For example now we have started. Rt now is r is consonant and t also is consonant. So when we see a kind of verb like that, we do not double the final consonant. That means the final consonant, which is t here, you not double it. That means the correct spelling for the simple past of start is started with only one single t, not double t. And the same thing with help here. Though we have LP because L is a consonant and P also is a consonant. So just we are not to double the P because this is an exceptional to that. When you see two consonants ending a verb like this, just put your ed and don't worry about doubling the P or any other thing. So still here, don't worry about me not giving the exercise about this one. Just keep in mind that whenever you see a consonant like this, two consonants ending a verb, just put your ed after it, and then just master the correct spelling of started and helped, because you are going to need it a lot. So that's how you are not going to be getting zeros when you are asked to make sentence or when you are asked to build sentence in your English exercise. So you still have to keep in mind that if the verb has two vowels letter before it, so we do not double the final consonant. You know the meaning of vowel, like A, E, I, O, U. Those are the vowels we have in English alphabet. Now example is that we have boy now. You understand, with two vowels. I think okay, we not double the, now look at this. Now we have two vowels. Before we have a consonant at the end, we have O L, O I. Now our O I is part of the vowels. You understand, you can see it right here. So that means you do not double the final consonant, which is N here. So boiled is B-O-I-L-E-D without doubling the L here. And then need is also needed without doubling the T. That means we don't have double D and the simple past of needed. So don't be really overwhelmed by now, you understand. Just make sure I make this video long because I want you to, the only thing you need to keep in mind is all the verbs that I'm listing here. Just you can even take a note and write it down, jot it down, and even first use a slash and write the simple past right in front of it. So see here, don't worry that I'm not giving you an exercise. Quickly make sure you draw the right boil and boiled as the simple past, because I'm still saying this, you are going to need this a lot when you are building sentence, right? In fact, in this course section 2, when we are working with making sentence with simple past and how you can actually use them, because these are one of the important thing you need to understand considering how you are going to spell it correctly. You just study the spelling of boiled and needed there. And now let's quickly talk about irregular verb. You remember that I told you that we have two kind of verbs. If you want to understand the verb spelling, we have the regular and the irregular. So I've talked about the regular fashion now. So now it's about the irregular. In fact, the regular is the one of the most confusing one, but it's still not confused. The only thing that you need to keep in mind is that there is no rule for the irregular verb if you want to change it to simple past. You understand? So because any verb that you see, any simple past verb that you see that you don't have ed, you understand, that you no end with ed. It's not that you don't have ed, but there is no end in ed. Those verbs are the irregular verb. Like tell, now we have to, you know, it's not telled, like T-E-L-E-E-D. T-E-L-L-E-D is not telled, it's told. You understand? So all these verbs that have been listed under the regular verb, they are exception to the rule we have talked about in the regular verb, how we change the regular verb to simple past. So this one, just have to know them, you just have to master them, that tell, the past tense of tell is told, the past tense of spill is split, and the past tense of become is became. So there's nothing you need to keep in mind here. Just make sure that whenever you see a kind of verbs like this, whenever you see the past simple of verb like this, just grab it, write it down in your notes, and make sure you memorize it, because you are going to need them a lot. So the second one is that the first thing to understand is that when you are changing the past simple past of form of irregular verbs, you understand. So the first thing is that some verbs have both regular and irregular verbs, simple past forms. Now this is what I mean. We have born. Now born is a verb, and if you want to say born in past tense, like you have born something, you understand, maybe you born the food you put on the fire or something like that. So we have bond that have ed here, and we still have bonds. So the two regular and irregular simple past form of bond is correct. So you can say bond or bond. The same thing with lean. You understand that you rest on something. That's the meaning of lean. You rest on something. So we have leaned and lent. You understand? Lent. Sorry, it's not lent. It's lent. And we have spoil, which is spoiled and spoiled. And we have smell and smelt. We have spill, spilled and we have spilt. We have dream, dreamed and dreamed. So learn, learned and learned. So all these are very important for you to understand that there are some verbs, you understand, there are some irregular verbs that have the regular form, and they also have the irregular form for their simple past forms. So and then there are some that there, so this is the main one, this is the main irregular verb. Some verbs are just irregular, that means there is no rule for it. Example are just be. Now we want to use be, so was there, was, is past tense of be, you understand, but you can only use it for a single person, you understand, in the past. Like let's say for example, now let's say you are eating rice before someone came in, and maybe so you now mess your okay, let's say you are eating rice before your father came from maybe from work, and you now come to school maybe on Monday, as I've already give you that example before, and someone asks you that where were you when your mother when your father entered. You now say I was eating when my father entered. So if you are many, like if you are just 2, 3 or more people that you are eating before your father enter, so you are going to use wa, w-e-r-e. Some people pronounce it we, but it's just wa here, so w-e-r-e. So we are not dealing with pronunciation here, so let's just pause that one for now. So we have beat here, so the simple part of beat is also beat, you understand. There's nothing changed in even the verb and the simple part, so you need to keep that in mind. And we have become, which became with the simple past as became. We have true with simple past as true. We have know as simple past as new. There's one thing I want to point out here, that KNOW is not NO, is different. Know that is NO is not a verb, you understand, it's know. That means you don't want something, you understand. But this know, KNOW, is as if you know about someone, you understand. Like let's say you understand something, you understand. So that's that one. So and check this description of this video to download a full PDF on most common irregular verbs, their simple past form. So you can ask someone to help you to check the description of this video. If you cannot download, you can ask your mother, you can ask your brothers, you understand. And if you are a parent watching this, you can help your children download it in the description of the video, because I will try as much as possible to list all the irregular verbs, so that all the most common regular verbs, so that when you see it, you'll be able to master it. There are many, you understand. So I think that's the end. So go back and review the lessons so you can understand it better, and make sure you practice it. In fact, if you want to master all this, if you don't want to be thinking about the now, let me quickly explain this. All the rules that I've been explaining, considering the regular verbs, if you want to change them to simple past, you understand, they might be complex in your thinking, you understand. They might be complex if you think about it, but it's not complex. And if you do not want to be thinking about it, about those rules as you are writing, or as you are speaking, or as you are discussing something, or you are saying something in English to someone, just make sure you go back, rewind this video, go back to the video, and check out every verbs that are listed there, all their past tense, and make sure you master it. So that's the end of this video. Goodbye, and don't forget, this is the part 2 of the section. We still have more things to come, so don't worry. And don't forget, I didn't mention it before, but this section here is about grammar. It's not about writing. We'll talk about that later on, maybe in another course section, but don't worry, this is about English. And today we have learned how to form simple past from verbs. So we talk about regular and irregular. So if anything is not clear about in this video, you can comment down in the video below. You can comment down under this video, and I will reply you, and you can even go back to the video and actually watch it. So bye for now. See you in another video. Goodbye. Past of prefer, you understand.